What if I told you the way it has always been done is not the best way? Facing your fears will change your life. The passion behind this journey is merging two separate worlds into one with the goal of creating value and awareness for a better life.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode is brought to you by R&R Pipeline, an infrastructure company. Our purpose? Enhancing America's infrastructure with a safety-driven, integrity-led culture that provides an environment for team members to grow and thrive.
And like most recently, I felt it when I got fired from a sales job. So I shut down my business. I was working sales for like a year. And I went on a 2-week vacation over Christmas. And because my family is in Virginia and Michigan, and I was trying to see them, whatever. I got young siblings. So I was trying to see them. This was not like an out of the blue thing. Like my boss knew about this. Like it was good. Everything was cool. I come back. They're like, yeah, you're gone. And I'm like, what's up? And they're like, yeah, you were like 50% below your quota for the month. And I was like, well, dude, I took a 2-week vacation. Like, I mean, was I supposed to work? Like, I didn't understand, you know, like I was confused. Long story short, I stuck with the workouts every day. I did what I knew was going to keep me in the right place. And I knew something good was going to come. My old business partner called me 2 weeks later. It was like, hey, how's everything going, man? It's been a while. And I'm like, yeah, I just got fired, you know, this and that. And he's like, I'm so happy to hear that. He's like, I got an opportunity for you. And fast forward like a year, you know, so far I've been working with this company. I absolutely love it. I have great opportunity ahead. Like everything is great. So it's like, it's so wild, man. Like I always try and tell this to myself, you know, to people around me, man, that sucks. That's happening right now. But I promise you, dude, it's hard to see right now. Something good is going to come from this. And you'll look back on this moment and be like, without that, I wouldn't be this guy.
Dude, it's so good. That's like the theme of my speech tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah.
You might love it, might hate it, but that's the theme of it. Isn't this fun? My attorney said that to me one day. So the possibility to buy R&R Pipeline was about 0.01% possibility. But that's all I needed to know. It was possible. And everything was going so great, man. Yeah. We got an attorney lined up. We got the bank. We got a letter of intent signed. Like, we're cruising. We got a closing date. We got a closing date. It's real.
Yeah.
We have all the financial pieces submitted. It's in place to be finalized. Like, we're going into 6 weeks from closing. The phone goes silent. No one's answering calls. No one's answering emails, text. No one knows what's going on. Just ghosted, 100%. They dropped us. Not a word. We had to do digging through a CPA firm that had some connections. Never said a word. We're 6 weeks from closing on our life-changing opportunity.
Yeah.
And we get this phone call in a boardroom with our attorney. Hangs up the phone, tells us the news. I'm depleted at this point.
Yeah.
Running the company, getting it ready to sell, and trying to buy it all at the same time at 28 years old. Dying. Like I'm physically feel like I'm dying at this point.
Yeah.
12th round of the boxing match, man. 30 seconds left. My eyes swelled shut. The other one's one hit away from not being able to see. You know, I got a fucking torn ass knee up. Like I am about ready. If a fly comes and lands on my head, I might fall over and be done for.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. And then my attorney says, isn't this fun? And I thought, you old motherfucker. Like, I have never wanted to punch a 60-year-old man so bad in my life. Before I said anything, though, I took what he said, and I just held it in for a minute. And I thought, you know what? Mike, he was right.
I was built for this.
Not only was I built for this, but I will never get this experience again in my life.
Yeah.
I am living a once-in-a-lifetime moment right now.
Yeah.
And what was already unfathomable odds against us just got worse. And that's why the fucking story when we close on this thing is going to be so epic.
Yeah.
So it delayed the closing probably 4 months. The first quarter of that year, we lost our ass because of external circumstances. Had we closed on December 31, we may have never made it to the end of year one. Life lesson from hell.
Yeah.
I remember sitting down like July 4th time that year, and I'm thinking, when we first started, we had enough working capital to cover one payroll, and we're on net 30 terms. So once we start working, we got 30 days to get the money. We got to pay everyone 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Tell me how well that works out.
Yeah.
Math ain't math, and I'm telling you, we had to get very creative.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that one isolated incident prolonged the closing. When we hit the ground running, dude, we were full steam ahead. Everyone's already in process, being very productive.
Yeah.
Everything's there. Holy shit, what a life lesson.
Yeah.
My persistent mindset went to persistent patience after that.
Yeah.
Because the outcome I was trying to force, closing at the end of 2018, would have been detrimental to the longevity of the business.
Damn. Wow. What a fucking bomb right
yeah,
there.
Dude.
And dude, and it's so hard to see that in the moment. It's so hard to see. And I hate saying it because it's so cliche, but I truly believe everything does happen for a reason. Like there's something behind it, whether it's God or the universe, whatever energy that you believe in, like something out there is putting puzzle pieces in place in front of you. And these little adversities and these little roadblocks are all a part of that bigger picture, you know? And like, to your point, you know, like, do you own R&R forever? Who knows? But when that time comes, everything happens for a reason. You know, it's like,
I try not to question what happens anymore.
Yeah.
Because now I understand that every time there's been this detrimental thing that came in front of me, it was just to paint a picture different and better.
Yeah.
Because it's always been better too.
Yeah.
The outcome that I would have desired to have has never lived up to the one that actually happened when the roadblocks were there, when the setbacks were there. The burnt toast theory. I don't know if you ever heard that, but your toast is burnt one day, it takes an extra 2 minutes, but you don't end up getting hit by the train where the car got stuck on the tracks, or you don't get in this accident. And I do believe everything happens for a reason, and I'll take it one step further. Everything happens for a reason, and everyone is in your life for a season. So everything happens for a reason. Everybody is in your life for a season. It might be every season of your life. It might be your parents. They are always there. But eventually, every season has an ending. We all die, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that regardless of who it is, they might not be in your life forever, but it is okay.
Yeah.
That's just part of life. That's part of the journey.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of friends come in my life and leave and whatnot, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just part of life.
Yeah.
Everything does happen for a reason. Everybody does have a season. I truly believe that.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that too, because like I said, I truly enjoy what I do. I love the company I work for, the people that I work with. You know, some of that has like brought on some anxiety around, you know, oh, am I doing enough? Am I performing enough? Am I replaceable? Things like that. And it's funny because like, I mean, I would say I'm fucking crushing it, you know, like I would say like, I mean, I don't know. My boss can probably speak for me, I guess, on that. But it's like I believe that I am in a position to where like I'm not replaceable in the company. But like my mind, the anxiety around it is like how much I love the opportunity. It's like, damn, I never even want that to be a question. But then if you take it to the level that you're talking about, it's like, okay, if that happens, there's probably something better on the other side. You know, it's like the grass is greener somewhere, you know, and like, I loved what the Oregon coach was. I can't remember his name right now, but the Oregon football coach was saying last year when the Alabama job came up and they were trying to pull him in, and he's like, I don't know, man. The grass is pretty damn green in Eugene, you know, and like so it's like the grass might be really green where you're at, but if it turns brown, guess what? You're gonna go find some more green, you know. So
yeah, well, and the grass is the greenest where you water it too.
Yeah, yeah.
And life, you know, if it's starting to turn brown, check what you're doing.
Yeah.
Why is it turning brown? Because it's directly on us as individuals.
Yeah.
Everything we have in life is our fault, good and bad. Life is a mirror. It's not a window. Mike, when we have situations in life, we can't look out the window and blame the world. We have to look in the mirror, point the finger. Power follows the blame finger. If you're pointing out that window and blaming someone else, you're giving them all the fucking power.
Yeah.
So for something or someone that you despise in your life, or this thing that you hate, if you give that thing credit for your failure,
Yeah.
You're essentially saying the thing that you despise more than anything is the reason that you failed.
God damn, man, that hits, especially right now with all the political stuff
Mm-hmm.
going on in the world, man. People get so wrapped up in it, and I don't watch the news for a reason. I'm in control of me.
Focus on the controllables.
Exactly.
That's it.
All I can do is worry about me, execute my way, do my thing. Whatever happens, happens. Maybe I have to make some adjustments. Maybe I got to move to a different state. I don't know. But all I'm going to do right now is just focus on me showing up and doing what I got to do.
At the end of the day, focus on what you can control.
Yeah.
So I think anxiety is so many things going on that you don't control any of them.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about like sadness would be not having an answer to the problem or not having a solution for the problem. Anxiety would be having too many choices, not knowing which one to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just the spiral of like unknowns. So when you look at issues in life, you can't control the economy, but you can control how you spend your money.
Yep.
So every external thing that you can't control, that you can't control how you deal with it, how you handle it. Knowing when to put down the shovel. If you're in a hole, stop digging, put the shovel down, dude. It's one of the most basic things in life, but I talk about it in the pipeline world. Hey, if you screw up, don't compound it by taking another shortcut and screwing up again. Put down the shovel. If you got to take 5 seconds to take a breather, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's better than rushing something and making it dramatically worse.
Yeah.
And kind of like the purpose over pleasure statement, a lot of these things that we've talked about today, when you get the ability to value life for what it is and connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Jobs, he had a speech that he did, and he talked about connecting the dots. He went to Reed College and dropped out of college and then ended up going into a calligraphy course because he was interested in it. That's how he created Apple Fonts down the road. So he drops out of school, goes into this random class, sleeping on the floor of his dorm, his buddy's dorm.
Yeah.
Goes into this thing and then ends up creating the fonts, Apple Fonts. And really, Microsoft was a chip off the old block from that too.
Yeah.
He changed the world because of a class that he didn't get any credit for.
Yeah.
Everything
Probably
happens for a
didn't
reason.
even know what he was doing in that
And he
class.
never understood why he was there.
Yeah.
But he just was interested.
Yeah.
And it literally changed the freaking world.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
It's wild, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost when you least expect it, Mike, everything falls into place.
Yeah.
Right when you're 3 feet from gold. Me and G talk about 3 feet from gold all the time. And in Think and Grow Rich, the movie, he talks about 3 feet from gold. The guy gives up. Someone else comes in, goes 3 feet over. All the gold's there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to push a little bit more.
Yeah.
And understanding right when it is the worst is right at the brink of a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And you cannot break the mold until you break through some barriers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The flip side of that too is like, the 3 feet from gold, reality. But there's also the fly that tries to fly through the fucking window forever and doesn't realize that there's a door wide open right there that they can just fly out. So not only is it about like showing up and continuing to push until it's no longer available, that 3 feet from gold mentality. Maybe you got to dig in a different direction. Maybe you got to be that fly that instead of trying to fly through something you can't, just go around the corner and fly through something you can.
So good. I call it, because I've had this happen for me.
Yeah.
Push, pull, pivot. So sometimes you got to push through. Sometimes you're just being weak and you got to get through it and you got to push. Other times though, you got to reassess and you got to pull back. And what is the reality of this? Not only that, but whenever I set out to achieve this thing, what was on my mind at the time? Where was my head at? What was my knowledge base? What was my logic? And is it still in line with what I want in life? And then that assessment can tell you sometimes you got to pivot.
Yeah.
And it's not giving up. It's acknowledgement of a better skill set with a bigger future, and I'm going to do something different by pivoting. It's very subtle, very simple, but very impactful. And like all the stuff that I mentioned, and like what I have a coaching theme for, it's just stuff I've created for myself to get through these things.
Yeah.
Because there's been times where the podcast was a prime example. Last year, I'm not making any money. I'm hitting a block of no inspiration whatsoever. I'm struggling to get the setup right. It's just painful, dude. But I just had to push through it because once I got through it was all right.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, setup takes me an hour maybe to set up.
Yeah.
And I got it all in one duffel bag.
Yeah.
I just had to push through.
Yeah.
The big picture was, when I started, wasn't even the big picture for the first 6 months of what could be possible.
Yeah.
Now I understand it differently. I just had to have that first step. The journey to 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go and you got to just embrace the pain.
Yeah.
And the frustration, and you got to get better. I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I had to get better.
Yeah.
Do more until you can't physically or mentally do any more with the time that you have. And then do better until that point of not able to do any better, and then do bigger.
Yeah. Dude, the push pull pivot thing you just mentioned, I really like that. Because that's like what I went through when we were dealing with the business kind of blowing up. We were pushing hard as fuck trying to make it work. You know, we're throwing Hail Marys, 101 yard Hail Marys, one receiver, 30 fucking defenders.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't fucking make sense. So we pull back a little bit. All right, let's try and reevaluate the situation. Nope, pivot, shut every fucking thing down. We're going to burn it all down. Now, all of a sudden, I'm working inside of a company. Never would have thought I would be doing that. I always thought I wanted to be the entrepreneur, the man in charge, the head of the house, like that type of mindset. And without that simple, push as hard as I can, okay, this isn't working, pull back, review everything, kind of oversee everything. Oh, nope, I'm going to pivot into something else and see whatever happens. I literally thought I was a failure at that point when I made that pivot. I had shut down everything I did and knew for 10 years. I literally thought I just threw away everything. I went from posting on social media all the time because that's how I made money to being a ghost on social media because I literally thought I just threw my entire brand away. I thought I threw Mike Polgese away. To then realize a simple little pivot rejuvenated a whole person I had never even knew existed. Created a whole level of happiness.
You just
I never knew
expanded
existed.
into your authentic self.
Yeah.
You just had to have
the
roller coaster that goes up always comes down at some point. And you just had to go down before you came back up.
Yep.
And I think that's like there's an old wise tale about the Chinese farmer. I don't know, you probably heard this, but Chinese farmer sitting there and his son breaks his leg. And all these events, good and bad, happen. He breaks his leg. And everyone comes over, oh, poor you. He's like, no, I'm good. Well, the next day, military comes through. They're drafting able young men to go to the war.
Yeah.
He didn't have to because he had a broken leg. Oh, man, you're so lucky. I'm good. He keeps it even killed the whole time.
Yeah.
And these events come up and down, and he just stays the same.
Yeah.
Because he knows everything happens for a reason, right?
Yep.
And so the broken leg could have been perceived as this horrible thing, but ultimately saved him from going to war and probably dying.
Yeah.
Right? So we never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the ironic tragedy of life, and you're going to hear this again tomorrow, but the ironic tragedy of life is that everything in the present is shaping your future, but we don't understand any of it until we can look back.
Yeah.
And so think about life in itself. The ironic tragedy of life is that it must be lived forward, with every decision we make being in the present that ultimately shapes a future we can't fully see. Yet life itself only makes sense in reverse when we look back and are able to connect the dots. In hindsight, the chaos often reveals purpose, and the pain normally turns into progress. And even when in the moment, when faced with embracing uncertainty, we have to maintain faith, not fear, and trust that the path ahead will eventually reveal its meaning.
Damn. The trust that the path of the head will eventually reveal its meaning.
Faith and fear both require us to believe in something that we can't see.
Yeah.
The choice is ours.
Damn. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That, what I heard this the other day, and it was what if equals fear, even if equals faith. I can't remember who I heard it from. So whoever, sorry.
Yeah. But, props to whoever said it.
Shout out.
We'll put it in the fine print.
But anyways, that like what you just said is like one of those like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Or even if this happens, and like I thought about it, like even in just my own life, what if, say I'm competing in I Want Abs right now. What if I don't win the bends? You start operating in that mindset of fear. You start throwing out the actions necessary to get that bends. If you operate in even if I don't win that fucking bends, I'm still going to be looking jacked on the beach this summer.
What opportunities will it create along the way? The exposure, anything.
Exactly, yeah.
What opportunity is going to come from it? And that's the gold in it. Because it's not about winning the bends. It's about the person internally you become that was able to win it.
To win it, yeah. Same thing you mentioned about R&R, dude.
Yeah.
It's about who you became to be able to purchase that.
Because I wasn't that smart. I'm still not that smart. I'm not that great. I'm determined to do things because of a mission that I have.
Yeah.
But it's not because I'm skilled. I am the most unnaturally talented person you're ever going to meet.
Yeah.
Naturally untalented, yes.
Yeah.
I worked my ass off to acquire the skills I do have.
Yeah.
But the God-given parts of me that I have probably died a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I had to be buried and reborn or replanted, whatever you want to call it, to become who I am today.
Yeah.
Because I had to leave that old me just to rot. Because the new me doesn't even recognize that old me.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not apologizing for it.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Pressure is a privilege. We've all had things that we said if we had them, we would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know I can't imagine anyone's ever said, if I had this, I'd be happy. You know, we've all had that, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't people happy then when they have the thing that they said would make them happy? Right? It's presence. It's the gratitude. It's life. I think the ability to understand what life looks like, feels like, is like in the reality sense of it. What's good enough to a person? Good enough is a reality check.
Yeah.
So am I an entrepreneur? Am I good enough to be an entrepreneur? I don't fucking know. You could say yes, you could say no, but I can tell you I got 5 business interests. I'm doing pretty good, right? Am I an entrepreneur? Doesn't mean they're going to be successful, but I have 5 different interests. I'm unemployable. I would say yes, I'm an entrepreneur. That's a reality check that I would confidently 100% say is real.
Yeah.
Reality check is fact. So whenever we're feeling down on ourselves or we're doubting ourselves, and imposter syndrome, what are the facts? Because we get in our way with opinions too much. And you think about, am I good enough to do this? Well, I don't know. Are you? Do you have the accolade, or are you the person that can accomplish that or has accomplished it? The reality check is proof.
Yeah. 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 The scoreboard. What's the score?
Cannot manage what you cannot measure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine playing in a football game where there's no score and no stats.
Yeah.
There would be no football.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
numbers never lie, dude.
Yeah. Also to that though, you know, like we were talking about the Nick Saban situation with that Alabama team, it's like if you focus too much on the score, you push yourself in the wrong direction. You know, and I've definitely felt that. Oh, I look in the mirror, I'm fucking shredded. I'm gonna eat a pint of ice cream tonight. I don't give a damn. And then I'm gonna do it tomorrow too. I don't give a damn.
And it's not lowering your discipline, lowering your guard down.
Yep.
You do something and make a mistake once, it's just a mistake.
Yeah.
If you do it twice, you're starting a new habit.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
And that's what you did, right? You'd have it 2 nights in a row, you're starting a bad habit that was exactly against the thing that allowed you to be shredded.
Yep.
So it's habits are huge.
Yep.
Atomic Habits, James Clear, man. I'll forever rant and rave about that book. And the compound effect is like beginning personal development, you know, just mind.
Those are like annual books for me. Yeah. Like I want to re-look at those once a year at least.
Same. Yeah. Same. Think and Grow Rich, Compound Effect, Atomic Habits is another one. I even went back to Rich Dad Poor Dad a couple of times just because I enjoy the story and like thinking through it. And then I always pick up something extra. And then Tim Grover, Winning and Relentless, them two.
Yeah, those are really good.
I love them. Yeah.
Yep.
And probably one of my favorites right now, Buy Back Your Time, Dan Martell. If you haven't read it, I'll bring you a copy if you want it, dude. Off the freaking charts.
Yeah.
That man is for real.
Yeah.
I'm in his coaching program.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Dan Martell's a freaking beast. There's another OG one that not many people have heard, I don't think. Price Pritchett. He's got a book, U Squared. It's like 36 pages long. It's probably the best fucking book I've
Squared.
ever. Yeah, U Squared. And it's like when you type it in Amazon or whatever, it's just U2 essentially. Probably one of the best books I've ever read in my life. And what it talks about a lot is like basically like failing forward. You know, like don't overthink the actions needed to take, just fucking execute and figure it out as you go. Oh my God, man. It's a really good one.
Pursuit 151. It's a mantra that I developed for myself when going to be in pursuit of something. Talk about confidence, right? Confidence is grown based on action. It's not based on thought or process or whatever.
Yeah.
So Pursuit 151, 100% commitment, 100% confidence. You have to be 100% committed to pursue a thing. 51% confidence though. And the confidence expands as you focus on it. It gets better. You get more confident as you grow. This podcast is a prime example of that, and that's where it all came from. I was committed to it 100% for 2 years. 51% confident. I thought I was. Probably would have put it that high because I was pretty delusional about the reality of it.
yeah.
And I'm now probably 75 or 80% confident and still working on it. But confidence should not deteriorate your commitment. But you got to be at least 51%.
Yeah.
If you're not 51% confident in something, then you don't know enough about it to even pursue it, to be committed to it.
Yeah.
Right? So get better before committing. You got to commit though.
Yeah.
Commitment is a non-negotiable. So if you're not living your dream, if you're not living the life you want, what are you not doing to get it? You know, what are you unwilling to give up to get that thing? And think about breaking down your reality whenever you're faced with issues or uncertainty. You got to address them. What are the top 1 to 5 things that are fully within my control of the outcome that will make my life better? And what am I not willing to give up to get that? Because with everything that you aspire to have, if you're going to add something great, you're going to have to give up something not great.
Yeah.
So for me, I wanted to look better. I wanted to feel better. I'm giving up happy hour with the boys after work.
That's
I'm
a tough
giving
one
up
to give
the
up
pizza.
too. Yeah.
I'm giving up these little things that are just slowly driving me downhill into the same environment everyone else is in.
Yep.
Now I have to go against the grain even more with conviction and fight this battle of being an outcast.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing what no one else is willing to do.
Yeah.
And I did that for about 8 years. And it was the loneliest and biggest growth road I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Because that environment of people I didn't want to be around and be like were no longer my life.
Yeah.
That was true growth for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And on this, at the same time, attract a whole new environment of people that you do want to be around. You know, like I was talking about it with Corey on Wednesday, and you know, we were basically talking about like how relationships are created essentially. And it's like high level people are just attracted to high level people. Low level people are attracted to low level people. Low level people are not attracted to high level people, and high level people are not attracted to low level people. And so like that, you go through that period of growth, people are like, wait a second, Mike's operating a little bit differently. Like he comes into town, he doesn't hang out with us. Like he's doing, oh, fuck him, you know? And then me on the other side, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care either. You know, I didn't want to be that person, you know, that you guys liked, you know? So it's like, yeah, the way that you're attracted to people, and like who, like the saying, you know, you're around 5 dipshits, you're going to be the 6th one, or whatever. Like that's 100% fact.
1,000%.
Like, I mean, without a doubt.
Show
like,
me your network. I'll show you your net worth.
100%. And like, I tie that back around to like where I live, you know, like I have friends, you know, I have acquaintances, you know, there's some dudes doing some big shit, you know, like owning all the hotels on the island and crazy big real estate, but they're missing that health piece, you know, they're missing that physique stuff, you know, and it's not a full package. And I want to be around the full package, you know. I would rather have the front end, you take care of yourself, you judge a book by its cover type of thing, versus
your body's
the back
your business
end.
card, dude.
Dude, 100%. And like, and I can look at somebody that has nothing. That guy is jacked. You're like, that dude's locked the fuck in.
Net worth does not equal wealth.
Dude, yeah.
Wealth is so much more than just a monetary value.
Yeah.
How you walk, how you talk.
Yeah.
What's your value in your family like? Look at how many multi-millionaire billionaires have committed suicide or tied everything to value to the money that they have.
Yeah.
Money is nothing more than a tool
Yeah.
to supply freedom.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than a tool. Not having it can be detrimental. I do think that, like,
Yeah.
if financial crisis is an issue, then yeah, it's pressure, it's uncomfortable. Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
But I don't tie net worth to everything. It's just part of the overall equation.
Yeah.
It's one quarter of the whole entire thing for me as far as freedom goes.
Yeah.
And there's times though where, like, you got to embrace what that is and look at it. I've been through worse and came out better than this situation right now, though. So I've went through hell and back, and this isn't even scratching the surface of hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, understanding that reality is sometimes we need to be reminded more. We need to be taught. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. 100%.
You're not really in the middle of the game until it's the middle of the night, head in hands, with no idea of what to do next.
Mm.
That is what living is all about for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've had that moment more recently than I ever thought I would. And when you face that reality, because it's hard, and you sit there and you're just looking at what options are there and you can't see a single option.
Mm.
You got to dig real deep to even see an option. Talk about the ability to embrace presence.
Mm.
Because at that point, you don't have any options and you have to create options, which then creates opportunities,
Yeah.
which magnifies the solution much quicker.
Yeah.
And so what would have to be true for me to accomplish this thing? What would have to be true for me to be the person that could accomplish this thing? And to start looking at it from a granular level, and then everything starts to become clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing, though, how many times we digest things and complex things so hard and so far that the simple step is right in front of us.
Yeah. Yep.
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
One of the most foundational things ever.
Yeah.
It's so true sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't make life complex. It's complex enough.
Yeah.
You know,
Ain't that the truth?
You want to add value, subtract what you're
Yeah.
doing and what you're distracted by.
Yep.
Man, Mike, this has been
Yeah.
has been great.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time today. Let's have you give me your closing thoughts about the weekend, about this experience, just
Yeah.
about the whole thing in itself, the next level group.
Yeah.
The floor is yours to close out the show. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, I mean, overall, you know, like I think like the one big takeaway is that I've gotten from doing things like this, like, I mean, I've been in kind of like the online space for, like I said, you know, 10 years or so at least. I've never really done this type of shit, like flying to some random spot, you know, getting with some random people I've never met. But I really felt this leaving the island, you know, in October or whenever it was. I think it was October. I came home. Actually, so funny thing is I told Corey I was going to go, like, from the time that thing was planned. I didn't book this shit until like a week before because I was just like, I don't really know, you know, I'm not really sure what to expect, you know, I know some of these guys, but I don't really know them, you know. It was almost like a little bit of fear of like, what am I even getting into? Like, I'd rather just spend one of my final weekends of like summer at home, because like October in Georgia, it's still pretty fucking nice, you know, and it wasn't here. And so it was funny, man. But I came to the event, obviously, and throughout the event, you know, I'm sitting at a De Noche, you know, right in town. And it's a group of guys, you know, maybe 10, 15 of us or something. And I look around the table and I'm like, man, if you guys were local, my girlfriend would stop saying I don't have friends. Because but what I realized is like, we're all so different people, but we all had that foundation, like common interest of like just lifting weights. And that was like the foundation of who we are, whether, you know, John's a plumber or Billy's, you know, a freaking mortgage guy. It doesn't matter what like we do or who we are professionally. We all had that common interest.
The iron doesn't discriminate.
Dude, yeah, 100%, the 100%. And so it was wild because like leaving, you know, like actually it was in between the day. So like, cause we had the morning lift And then we had like the break for the day, and I texted my mom, and I'm like, man, I'm so happy I came out. Like, this has been fucking dope. And like, we haven't even made it to the island yet. Like it's just like some little workout we did in the morning. And I was like, man, like I would move up here to be around this environment. And she actually like, she responded and said, you got to create your own version of this on Tybee Island. And I was like, man, ain't that the truth?
That's some gold right there.
I was like, ain't that the truth? And so anyways, long story short, I come back, I talked to Corey the following Wednesday, and he's asked me, how is everything? How'd you feel, et cetera. And I was like, dude, I didn't realize how much I needed that. Like I didn't realize how much I needed to, number one, have a weekend away from everything. I
good reset.
I wasn't going to see my mom in Virginia. I wasn't, going on a trip with my girlfriend. Like it was just me. I fucking left Georgia, came to Columbus, Ohio, never had been here before. I'm a Michigan State fan, so I don't really have any desires to be in Columbus, right? But it's better than Michigan, though. So,
yeah, I'll give you that.
So anyways, like I'm talking to Corey, and I was just like, man, like I don't know, man. I just feel different. Like the conversations I was having, like I don't have those types of conversations around. Like the people I was with, like I don't have those people around, and it just really made me like value having something like this in place like once a quarter, like something where it's like, I can go connect with like the people I really resonate with, and we can chop it up. We can have a good weekend. We can go back to our normal lives after that. But then tying it into the next level group, I'm like, how, like there's other people I talk to at Muscle Island that, like I'm sure are feeling this way, is John going back to Minnesota and trying to create his own version in Minnesota, and I'm coming back to Tybee and I'm trying to create my own version in Tybee. Like, why don't we all just like have our own version together? And it's just a meetup every Wednesday night. It's like a round table setting, except for it's on Zoom, and we all get together, we talk, we jam with Corey, we're all looking to get better. And like that's the common denominator is like
growth.
Yeah, weightlifting triggered all of that, right? Like we wanted to get better in our health, we wanted to look better, we wanted to have a better image, feel more confident, whatever it is. But then what's the next level of that? And that's where the name The Next Level came from. It's like, okay, we've done this, we're at a good place in life. Like if you were to tell my 16-year-old self that Mike Polgese would be living on Tybee Island with a smoking hot girlfriend, a beautiful, amazing dog, 5 blocks from the beach, no car payments, like we don't have, and I have a brand new truck. I bought this shit cash, it's like if 16-year-old Mike would know all these things, he'd be like, dude, you fucking made it, boy. Like, where do I sign up? Like, what's the playbook? But the thing is like I have all these things. It's not that I'm not satisfied. It's just like, what's next? What's the next level? Like I've made it this far. Where can I take these same principles, and what can I take it to?
Because it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like getting better is fun, man. Like winning at life is fun. And when you're doing it with a group of people, it's even more fucking fun. And so now like in the Next Level group, like we got guys that are like starting their own businesses together and stuff. And like, real estate deals are coming up, and it's like, hey, I don't know if anybody's interested, but this is what I'm looking at. Like, I can put down this if you guys want to do this. Like there's cool shit happening, but the common denominator is all of us just want to get better. We all want to see what the next level is for our lives.
Yep.
And we're all spread out all around the world. And so coming back into this weekend, this event, obviously we got the Next Level kind of get together tonight. I think it's only going to be a couple of the people, but still will be awesome to kind of have that in person. We meet every Wednesday, but it's cool to kind of, meet each other in person, hang out, do whatever. But then even better, we got the weekend ahead of us. We got beats and barbells first thing in the morning, 4 a.m., get a nice pump session in. But then we get the opportunity to learn from some greats, a couple hours of some speeches, be able to get some good nuggets, head down to the Arnold for a little bit, check it out. I've never been, so I want to check it out. I want to see what it's like. Then we got 3 tigers, you know, hang out after that. Like, dude, and it's all just a bunch of people that some are plumbers, some are blue collar types of people, some are white collar, you know, it's all different types of people, but we all have this common denominator of lifting weights and just wanting to get better in life. What better of a combo? So
it's an experience that really can't be bought.
Dude.
It's priceless. And I always think of like the military and at R&R Pipeline, this is the culture I want to create. It's, you know what it's like to be part of the military.
Yeah.
But you don't really know unless you're a part of it.
Yeah.
It's that community. It's the team.
The camaraderie.
How many people have achieved great success and won championships and talked about the locker room and not holding up the trophy? And me and G talk about this a lot. That's why I have so much gratitude for coming in 4 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
Because it's about the accountability with the people there, the discipline, a bunch of like-minded, growth-minded individuals. There's no discrimination about anything except for how you work.
Yep.
Your work ethic is the only thing that matters when you come in.
Yep.
The work ethic is required to even get the opportunity to walk in to that door. Not many people have that opportunity in front of them where they have a like-minded group of individuals.
Yeah.
And I forgot how rare it was until the last year or so.
Yeah.
I didn't take it for granted, but I did a lot on my own for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when we I had R&R Pipeline bring semi and skid steer and all kind of stuff to move the gym whenever Corey bought this building. Move it from Pataskla to here, and it was like a 14-hour day on a Friday.
Yeah.
But we loaded up all the equipment, and the guys moved to here and whatnot and got everything in place. And I remember G told me, he's like, yeah, it'll probably be a couple weeks, but you need to come back. Rejoin the crew now.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I kind of hesitated. I was like, all right, man, a couple weeks. I wasn't even really working out then, dude.
Yeah.
I was like skating through life, sleeping until 5 or 6, like
Yeah.
not doing what I know I needed to do. I was very inconsistent. And it was just a temporary season where I wasn't doing what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that accountability for myself. I didn't have that team. Never forget, Sunday afternoon, he texted me, yo, had all high school kids come in, 4 a.m. tomorrow, set your fucking alarm clock and be there. Tomorrow's day one.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been training hardly any, and I didn't even tell them this till after the first week. And
So you got
I remember
smoked.
like thinking, oh shit. And I'm thinking through all the days of doing that before.
Yeah.
And this was probably 4 or 5 years ago. So I'd been working out still, bought the business, you know, but that foundation piece was missing because of the accountability factor I needed.
Yeah.
And my growth went so far above and beyond what I thought was possible because I've reestablished this criteria right here that matters most.
Yeah.
It's hard to walk if you ain't got legs, if you don't have feet. You got to have the foundation in place, man.
Dude.
And it can never go away.
Dude.
Entrepreneur, I define entrepreneur by someone who is grateful for the progress they made while at the same time dissatisfied with the rate at which they made it. And I could not think of a more true statement for myself. Probably you can relate to that. It's okay to be full of yourself sometimes too, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you're not full of yourself, who's going to be? Who's going to lift you up if you're not doing it?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you got to be arrogant and outlandish and whatever. It's okay to be proud of yourself, though. You can never unlock your greatness until you realize that you're worthy of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the coaching for me is going to be exciting because so many people feel like they're not worthy of it.
Yeah.
And everyone out there that's listening to the show in the world is worthy of it. You just got to believe that you are.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And sometimes you need the belief from somebody else, you know, and like, I think that's the biggest thing is like that a community like this, having these events, you know, like this, what it creates is not only somebody that's going to fucking keep it real with you when you're slipping, like you just mentioned, but somebody that's going to push you and believe in you. Like I was asked one time on a podcast years ago, and it's weird because I just had this random fucking thought, but they asked me like, you know, what do you like when you die, what do you want to be remembered as? And I sat there, you know, I was thinking, it was on Zoom, and I was thinking, and I was like, man, you know, when they go to, you know, do their little thing at the funeral, whatever they do, I don't know, but I want them to be like, Man, Michael Polgese Jr. That guy was like a runway. You know that level thing that planes get all the speed to take off? Like, he fucking believed in people when they didn't even believe in themselves. That's what I want people to remember me as. Like, somebody that will hold them accountable to what they say they are going to do, but is also going to be that kickstart that people need to take control of their own lives and really go after what they want.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We die twice. The first time is when we're buried. The second time is the last time someone says our name. That's why this show exists. My grandpa served his whole life, other people, helped other people his whole life, and never really talked about it. Just was one of the things where is acknowledged by other friends or family members at the greatness that he had instilled in others. That's why we're here today, man.
Yeah.
I was so inspired by my grandpa's stories and what he had done. And he was the beginning of generational change for my last name. I'm the finish of that, though. I am the one that is going to change it. And he started it. And then it took a detour. And then now it's back on track. And I'm going to finish it. And I will forever say his name and legacy will forever be out there now because of this podcast.
Yeah.
And that, my friend, before the show even launched, it was already a success to me and already worth it. Because of that one interview.
Yeah. Damn. That carries some weight too. Some additional final thoughts. Jay Shetty, when he wrote that book, Monk Enough or whatever, publishers or whatever team, I don't know who it was, they asked him, hey, what's the goal of like copies sold? And he was like, don't really care. I've already done my work. However many people buy it, however many people are impacted by it, doesn't matter to me. I've already done what I wanted to do, and I wanted to put this thing together. So it's like tying it back to your grandfather there. It's like you already were successful because of that first step that you took. Everything else, that's just icing on the cake, dude.
It was the reason that I was able to embrace the pain and the uncertainty and the being questioned, because before it started, it was already successful because I felt how impactful it was for me for 1 hour. 1 hour of an interview with my grandpa. He's the one that he does the introduction. So he introduces me as the host.
Yeah.
No matter what, no one can ever take that away from me. And that's why I feel the success that I do now for it.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm a good podcast host. It's because it meant something to me before it even started.
Yeah.
And that was where the greatness really started to unlock for me.
Yeah. Man, that's beautiful. Man.
Any other final thoughts?
Nah, this was
This was awesome, man.
I've literally feel like we could talk forever. You know what's funny? Actually, an additional final thought. Communities like this, what comes out of it? We would have never had this if it wasn't for Muscle Island and that whole thing. But I had another wild experience too. Brian Peters, guy's a character. Love him.
He's awesome, man.
He's cool as shit.
Legit.
So I met him at Muscle Island as well. Through conversation, I found out that Brian's really interested in finding like antlers and all this shit. And I'm like, hey, dude, I know you're on the road a lot. If you come down to my neck of the woods, I'll take you out shark tooth hunting. We'll find some megalodon teeth. Dude, he texts me like a week later. Hey, I'm on Hilton Head. You think we can go out? I'm leaving like Saturday. This is like Wednesday. I get it set up. We go out. We find shark teeth. But it's like, dude, I'm out there with Brian Peters. Like we're out there like brothers. We spoke for 15 minutes at Muscle Island. I go to put bug spray on because the freaking bugs are terrible down there, and where we're at in the river, it's terrible. I go to put bug spray on, and he's like, "You need me to get your back, babe?" Like we were like straight brothers, It's like
because to get yourself classified in this state of community, it cuts out all the underlying bullshit.
Yeah,
it does. Like it's almost like a precursor qualification.
Yeah. It's like no, we're all the same here. We all have some level of fucking psycho. But so so
totally got that.
Yeah, so that would lead me to say like final thoughts. These types of communities, whether it's the Max Effort Mafia or whatever it is, like if you can find something, like my girlfriend is into ballet and professional dancing and theater. That's her community. Yeah. Exactly. Find that group of people that are going to fucking believe in you when you don't even believe in yourself. And they're going to keep it real with you when you're going off the fucking rails. You have to have it.
Find someone that will tell you the truth, not what you want to hear,
Dude.
or what you feel like you need to hear.
Love ain't lies.
That's it. I'll leave it with this last quote. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
A master in the art of living draws no sharp distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his education and his recreation. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence through whatever he is doing and leaves others to determine whether he is working or playing, because to himself, he always appears to be doing both.
Damn. I like that.
One of my favorites, man. Top 5.
I like that.
All right, Mike. No more final thoughts.
Yeah.
We're 5 rounds of final thoughts. This has been the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. Mike, thank you for coming on the show, man. This has been epic.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely awesome. We're going to kick off the Max Effort Muscle subscriber event. Ladies and gentlemen, it just kicked off. Hour and a half of a badass podcast to this man, and it's time to party. Let's go.
Boom.
This episode is brought to you by Max Effort Muscle. For all your supplement needs, go to maxeffortmuscle.com.